Hello, in this lesson, let's learn the most basic patterns for real eyes and fake eyes. In our previous lesson, I left you with this pattern, and we said that in this pattern, black is completely alive because black has made two intersections, both of which are illegal moves for white. So white cannot occupy both at the same time. Therefore, black will always have two liberties left, and thus black cannot be removed from the board. Unless, of course, black fills its own eyes, but no player should ever do that in a real game. So what makes these eyes real? So here are the basic patterns for real eyes. Please remember them first, and the patterns will only get more complicated from here. So if we're talking about an eye in the middle of the board, it has to be surrounded like this. It has four intersections that are closely diagonal to this intersection that are being surrounded. Here, white needs to occupy three of the four diagonal points for this to be a real eye. If the one space eye is on the side, then it looks like this. Then both the diagonal intersections next to the eye have to be occupied in order for this to be the real eye. And if the one space eye is right on the corner, then the only diagonal to this one space eye must be occupied in order for this to be a real eye. So these are all one space eyes, meaning there's only one intersection being surrounded. So the top three are obviously illegal moves for black, and the bottom three are illegal moves for white. If you put two of these eyes together, then they will look like this pattern, and it will be alive because it cannot be removed from the board. Well, that was not the best explanation, but if we look at a few fake eyes and how fake eyes will eventually lead to capture, then we'll understand why real eyes are important. So for each of these patterns, let's identify the real eyes and the fake eyes. So each one has a real eye and a fake eye. And as we know, we need two real eyes to be alive. Therefore, each of these patterns is a dead pattern for white. And I will show you why they're dead, because they can eventually be captured by black. So here on the upper left, we have two eyes. So the one right here I marked with the circle is the real eye, whereas the one I marked with the triangle is a fake eye. And I said this white group is dead because eventually black will be able to capture all of white. So black can simply fill in these liberties, and now black has achieved an Atari on this white stone. If white connects, then white will only have one liberty left because this fake eye has suddenly disappeared. If white passes, so it's black's turn again to play on this corner, black can capture. So this is a close situation. We have an exchange on the outside. White can capture. But eventually, the co-threats will be exhausted by white, meaning that white will not be able to capture back. So when this happens, white must pass again, and black will be able to capture all of white. So now let's look at the pattern on the upper right. The eye that I marked with the circle is a real eye, whereas the one I marked with triangle is a fake eye. So once again, white only has one real eye, and this pattern is dead because again, black can exhaust white's liberties. If black plays here, then these three white stones are under Atari, meaning this fake eye will either have to be filled by white or captured by black. If white fills in, then black can capture all of white by placing this stone inside the real eye. If white passes, then black can capture this fake eye first, and white can only pass again, and eventually black is able to capture the real eye as well. So that is why you need two real eyes to defend against eventual capture. Now let's look at the lower left. The eye I marked with the circle here at the 1-1 point is a real eye, whereas the one at the 2-3 point where the C2 is a fake eye, because here 2 of the diagonals are occupied by black, not white, and white only occupied 2 of the diagonals. We said white needed to occupy 3 in order to make a real eye. So here, again, white has 1 real eye and 1 fake eye. And black will be able to capture white eventually. So black will just occupy the liberties on the outside, and now has once again achieved an Atari on this fake eye. If white connects, then black will be able to capture. If white passes, then black can capture. White can capture back. But once again, this is another fake eye. And if black occupies this liberty again, this will be very similar to the upper left, where black can exhaust the co-threats and eventually get to the real eye. Lastly, we have the lower right. Now you're probably certain that the eye at the corner at the 1, 1 point is a real eye, and the eye at the 2, 3 point is a fake eye. And you're right. In this scenario, if black occupies the liberties on the outside, it will achieve an Atari on this fake eye. White connects, black will capture. If white passes, black can capture first, and then eventually black can capture the whole group. This means that real eyes can prevent an immediate Atari by your opponent. And that is why when they stick together, they can form defenses against the Atari. Whereas fake eyes eventually have to be filled because your opponent can form an Atari that forces you to destroy your own fake eye. And I hope these examples are good illustrations for real and fake one-space eyes. Thank you for watching.